IPMNation.com.
Once upon a time, they awoke to the concerted effort underway to dummy them down, to the forces working at every turn to water down human wherewithal. They stood, they rallied, they drew their line in the sand, vowing once and for all to scale their spines and mortal up. That was the day the tables turned, and the universe itself sat up and took notice.
Live from the Counterpunch Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. If you're not going to mortal up, why not just stay in bed?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good morning, and thank you. Welcome, I should say, as well, for stopping by and hanging out what is now the 426th episode. Get out of here. Of the number one rated show on IPMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being and the gong heard round the world. Your snooze alarm sworn enemy, I like to think of it. And a great way to jumpstart your day while you're at it. Broadcast as it happens, thanks to our friends, our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast, from the Counterpunch Media Studios. And multicast live, as you know by now, on mortalup.com and over on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And this morning with a very special shout out to two companies that make our little AM soiree possible. Of course, I'm talking about Lee Rowley's copy branding and the blender buffer, one of my favorite things of all time, because happens. But we'll get to more of them in a bit. If you're heading for the shower or you're out the door soon, this is radio that sparks your smart, crushes your cant, and primes your mind for the day ahead. Already out and about? God love ya. I'm fired up to be your virtual hitchhiker. Admittedly, I fit in the cup holder just perfectly. And as you know, I love riding shotgun. And if we've missed you live, you know that we have on-demand rebroadcasts on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Overcast, CastBox, right? Just like me to drop a few names first thing in the morning. Greetings wherever you are, here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself. As you know it, the ups, the downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims, the sheer havoc. Synchronicity and serendipity of it all. Are there blind alleys, some cul-de-sacs? Of course. But there's never a dead end unless you and I consciously decide to tap out. But until then, let's put our heart's highest priority top of the list. What do you say? Let's out-brutal the brutal that is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal us on a daily basis. And for each of us as individuals, let's agree to bring our own bold once and for all. But before we hit it this morning, a quick hello to my friends and those joining us from all over the globe. It's great, as I say every day, it's great to have you with us, even though we're getting ready to, we're learning about this morning thing. So what do you say? Here's your opportunity to mortal up, to crush your cant and your critics, to demand your mind's eye and your true potential live wide open, because it's time. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. So as you know, today is the second day, thank you for joining us, of the morning show here for All Natural Being. So, we're ironing out some kinks, doing some different things, learning all different kinds of stuff as to what we can do to iron out the kinks, because I don't know if you know this, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, because now that we go to Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, you just got to clean up your act a little bit. And I promised I wouldn't tell you this little story about a big name in the news that we happen to mention, right? Like other comedians and reporters and this and that. But we happen to mention this individual's name, and it got us yanked off of Bird Chat, if you get what I'm saying. And this in case there's like an algorithm that goes through and goes, oh, if he says this word, he knows, oh, we're talking about us, right? Like when I'm going to say something, when I call a certain social media platform, when I call it mug pamphlet, right? Well, we'll call this Bird Chat, although it's getting to the point where it's like bird scat anymore, but we'll call it Bird Chat. Bird Chat went and dumped 2 of our videos, pulled them. So I laugh at that, right? Free speech. What are you going to do with it? There you go. All right. So this morning, I also wanted to let you know, bright and early, don't forget, if you want to give us a call, you're welcome to 833-646-3877. Let me do the math. If you're into the phonetics of it, it's 833-MINDUPS, MINDUPS, just like push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups. You get the drift. 833-MINDUPS. You can give us a holler. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, and I'm supposed to tell you that if you text standard texting, whatever, taxes, fees, rates may may apply as well. All right. I wanted to get your opinion on a little something, only because, as you know me, I absolutely love this. You ever get to the point where you go, all right, I'll tell you a quick little story. When my mom was little, I was raised by my mom. My father left when all the kids were little. And so we had babysitters, nannies, the backyard would babysit us all day long. And my mom would come home at the end of the day, and, all 5 kids would go running up to her. And I'll never forget, my mom used to say, will you just let me get my coat off? Will you just let me get my coat off before you unload? So one of the things that I'd love to do here, one of the things that I'd love to talk about, I see Mortal Up and Mortal Up. I'll tell you about this gift here that I got from a good friend of mine. I'll tell you about the gift in a little bit. But, right, my mom would say, look, will you just please let me get my foot in the door, but probably drop my purse, get my coat off, and then you all can, you can pile on. Tell me everything's been going on. So one of the things that I'm working on, but I wanted to throw it out here in the feed to get everyone's reaction first, is how I am about, as I said in the opening, people doing whatever they can to dummy us down, people doing whatever they can to water down human wherewithal. And it just gets grating at times. It's, like a bird chatter, dumping those videos because I mentioned somebody's name, right? Whatever. So I want to do this segment. It's in my core to do this segment. It's probably got what probably got me with 9 out of my 10 in-laws unfriending me on Facebook now that I think about it. I know you're thinking all upside to that, right? All bonus, but what are you going to do with it? So I want to go back, and I thought we'd start the segment off each morning. Or we'd start the show off each morning with this particular segment, because there is more than enough news to make it work. Absolutely more than enough news to make it work. And I'd like to call the segment, as always, I'd like to bring it back because we had it here in the morning show. I'd like to bring it back. It's called Lowlifes Making Headlines. And the topic for the very general, an umbrella logo, if you will, a slogan. If you're looking for lowlifes making headlines, what could that possibly be? Well, it's hot heads wrapped in thin skins, brittle brains sitting atop balsa wood spines, and everything that they do to try to steal the power that they want, but you have. So, right, they say, oh, you got to live by the committee vote. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do that. So just keep that in mind, if you will. That's something that we're thinking about, we're talking about, and if it's good with everyone, like my mom, he's just like, oh, let's just get this off our chest, right? Let's as soon as we get up in the morning, let's just get it out of the way so that we can spend the rest of the show and the rest of the day focusing on just us and what we need to do to bring your own bold, right? What we need to do to mortal up. So that's where that's what I was. That's what I was thinking about. All right, let's do this quickly. We will be, we're going to be back really, really fast.
All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Radio for the rare breed.
I know. I love that. Radio for the rare breed, and which you and I both know you are that rare breed. So this morning, I also wanted to bring back a segment because we got a lot of questions about this. Is this coming back? You know, you're coming back to mornings. This is a very popular segment. We called it the 60-second stoic. So let's do this real quick. This, I think, will be another one, and see if I can catch back up. This will be another one of the things that we do each morning here on All Natural Being.
Time for your 60-second stoic. It's simple, really. Embrace the suck or be swallowed alive.
All right, your 60-second stoic. Embrace the suck or be swallowed alive. So what are we doing? You know, my brother, and probably like you, maybe you have loved ones in the military. You're familiar with the term embrace the suck, right? I say the Tao follows its own path. But you know what I mean? You know, square your shoulders to the chop block of fate is another way that I like to say it. But I wanted this morning's 60-second stoic to be about the philosopher Seneca, when he basically talks the best way to prepare to jump into a boxing ring, let's say. The best way to prepare anything that we're going to do to address what fate can do to us. He's saying that the best boxer is one that's seen his own blood, that's felt his own teeth and jaw underneath the weight of an opponent's fist, right? That he's been downed in body, but she's not down in spirit. Downed in body, but never downed in spirit. And for our 60-second stoic this morning, that's what I'd like to think about. That's what I'd like for us to be able to talk about. We'll open the thread here in just a minute. That's what I'd like to be able to discuss, is that instead of running and cowering from those attempts at fate to chop block us, we stand, because truly what makes us a great fighter, what makes us a great scrapper, what makes us, right, just the ability to hang with whatever's thrown at us, whatever's dropped at our feet, what makes that ability of ours so overwhelmingly unique is that when we've mixed it up before, when we, as Seneca said, has felt what it's like for our teeth and our jaw behind the punch of an opponent. So maybe, you know, it's not like saying we're going to run out and just get beat up anytime soon, but as far as facing the different things of life, if we said, okay, great, here's what we're going to do, well, you know, a little, just like progressive adaptation for a muscle, we'll take a little bit of fate's chop block and then we come back each and every time ready to go. So that's kind of the thought I was thinking this morning and wanted to share with you as a part of the 60-second stoic. All right, what are we going to do? We're going to open, don't forget the phone lines if you want to give us a text. Oh, listening over on Twitter. Thank you very much. Try to stay warm. Well, you know, it's a little chilly out this morning. I got to tell you, it's about 9 degrees and the wind is whipping up pretty good here in Columbus. You know, and it's funny because it makes me think that I'd like to move to Florida. South Florida. Like maybe Key West. I don't know if Key West is far enough south for me, but that's what that's something I'm thinking about, especially on a morning like this morning. You have got to be kidding me. So, but if you want to give us a text, 833-MIND-UPS, 833-646-3877, jumping over into the feed. Marcellus, good morning. Marcellus, it's fitting that you're here. Every time I say chop block, I think of you, brother. Nice to see you. Kathy, thank you for joining us here in the mornings as well. Thank you so very much for hanging out. Top of the morning to you too, Marcellus. So yeah, we were just talking about how cold it can be, how great it would be, right? I don't know why this couldn't be coming to you from the Counterpunch Studios in beautiful Equator world, right? Anywhere where it's warm year round. I got to start thinking about, I'm an old guy. That's all I'm saying, right? So sooner or later, I got to go where it's warm. Fate's nemesis, yeah, except if it's 5 degrees outside with a wind chill, then I'm like, oh man, I think I need a hat. I think, right? I don't have much hair left after everything that's gone on, so I think I need a good hat. All right, so this morning we're talking quickly in the 60-second Stoics, but let me see if I can get back on time. Oh, I think I can get back on time. Let's do this quickly. And we will be right. Let me do this one. We will be right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com. The Bry. He'll be back in 59 seconds.
I wanted to give you a quick heads up about blender buffer. If you're like me and you are forced to wage a war every morning to keep from waking up the whole house, if you want to win the battle of blending your favorite coffee without sounding like a 5-alarm blaze at 4 a.m., you got to check this out. My wife ordered a blender buffer for me, and I tried it out first thing bright and early this morning, and it made my blender whisper quiet and didn't rock the whole house. Then it dawned on me, my wife is pretty crafty. She didn't order it for me. She bought the blender buffer to buy herself a few extra hours of shut-eye every morning. Crafty. Thanks, Blender Buffer, for putting my family and I back on speaking terms and allowing me to enjoy my early morning Joe in true peace and quiet.
I got to tell you, that's the thing, putting my family back on speaking terms. I have to tell you, I may have been doing okay when they weren't talking to me. But in any event, tomato, right? But here's the blender buffer. And again, thanks to the good folks over there. What you do is you have your blender, and, as a part of my recovery, a part of my surgery every time is, you need caffeine to help manage the pain, because I wouldn't take the drugs. I wouldn't do all these other things. So, you need caffeine. So I get up every morning, I throw some butter, I throw some, this and that and everything else, some little high octane oil from Bulletproof, and I throw it all into my blender. But the thing is, it's just the racket. So my friend Paul from Blender Buffer invented this sheet. It's like a sheet. It just goes over top, and you put the lid on, and then you crank it up, right? I have a little switch that goes right on the wall. You crank it up, blends. It doesn't wake everybody up. I'd gone through, like putting it in the shower, putting it in the front seat of the car, burying it in the garage, checking out under the sink. And then I thought, I am getting some deep knee. I'm getting some mountain climbers in. I'm getting some squat thrusts, some lunges in, trying to find all the places to hide this thing. And then I said that to Paul, and Paul's go, will you just knock it off, please? No, not. He's a personal trainer from another life. Not knock off the personal training stuff, but let me see what I can do. And he's an inventor. That's what he invented, the blender buffer. So we'll go ahead and throw up a QR code at the end of the show if you're interested. You know what? Let's just, let me see. Let me try that now, just for the heck of it. Let's just see this. This will be a first, and then I'll explain why this is such a big deal. Okay, there you go. So now, if you're listening in any other way other than your phone, go ahead. And if you have a QR reader, if you're familiar with what a QR reader is, it's this little thing on your phone. Throw it right up here to the QR code, and that will take you right over to Blender Buffer and get you all the information, and so there you'll have it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, speaking of pretty cool, here's something else that I wanted to mention. So, we talk all the time about wanting to ride shotgun. We talk all the time about, if you're heading out the door, we want you to take us with you. If you're doing this or you're doing that, we're all over the idea of riding shotgun, coming along for the ride. So this whole QR code thing, before I figured it out for Blender Buffer, the whole QR code thing, it works this simply. So suppose you're over here, right? And then you go, Brian, I'm really digging the show, but you know what? Time's up. It's 7:18 Eastern. I got to get out the door. Now all you have to do is hold your phone up to this QR code. Now this QR code is unique just to the show. So you hold your phone up to the QR code on your laptop or your computer or this or that and everything else. You hold up your phone, and then it takes you right to the live radio broadcast. So you don't have to miss a beat. You can get right out the door, get the kids to school, get yourself to the gym, to the office. Maybe you're just going out for a walk or a run or whatever you want to do. Now you just hit that QR code and you can take us with you out the door. So when you're up, your feet hit the floor, you hop into the shower, you get out, you're ready to start the day, just hit that QR code and we'll be able to go right along with you. All right, Kathy says, good morning. Had to laugh because I thought the same thing this morning. Kathy, I have to tell you, Florida is looking good. Paul, good morning. I was just talking about you. Thank you so very much for the blender buffer. Oh, and Paul also made me a very nice Mortal Up one. I have another one that I mentioned or was mentioned in the commercial that I use for the dirty work of making a coffee. But this Mortal Up one that Paul did for me and sent to me, it's just so nice looking. I've done tea in it once and I can't bring myself to put anything else. Lee, good morning. Nice to see you. South Florida is great, but the bugs are the size of bread loaves. I have to tell you, Lee, I lived in Tampa for a lot of time. When it gets to be 4 below zero and 180 mile an hour winds or whatever's going on out there now, I'll put up with the ankle-biting mosquitoes. I really will. And I love the alligators, the snakes, the turtles. I love the little lizards that run around on the ground. I'm just saying, yes, the bugs are big, but I'm going to learn to put up with them for certain. All right, so where are we on time? Here's another thing that we're working on now that, because we have 30 minutes before we get to an hour and then 2 hours and 3 hours. But in these 30-minute shows, we got to pay. I don't get to ramble on. I'm not sure how much I'm digging that. But in any event, that's what we're up to this morning, is trying to kind of learn a little bit of just of the run of show kind of stuff. So quickly to catch back up, we're also going to be introducing tomorrow Crimes of Mind. And the tagline is, sometimes you're just your own worst enemy. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. And backed by popular demand, me too, bugs are friends. That's absolutely true, Lee. Bugs are friends. And backed by popular demand will be the early morning meme. So in each morning show, we'll have the 60-second stoic, Crimes of Mind, and then the early morning meme. But don't forget, especially here, bugs in my phone. Thank you, Kathy, very much. Yeah, Kathy, let me know. Maybe we can get a split level or something like that. I can't take this cold anymore. All right, so let me know in the feed what you think about lowlifes making headlines. Don't forget, it's my attempt to highlight those very special little walking, talking Venus flytraps, human Venus flytraps, those pits of quicksand with feet. And I wanted to call it lowlifes making headlines. Here's where the hot heads wrapped in thin skin, the brittle brains that sit atop balsa wood spines, a little segment that will just to allow us to vent from some of the craziness we see in the world. Then we'll get into 60-second stoic, the crimes of mind, and we'll end up the show with the early morning meme. All right, let's do this, and we are coming right back.
You're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy on IPMNation.com, The Bry. He'll be back in 59 seconds.
Hey there, this is Lee Rowley with Lee Rowley Copy Branding. You know why I dig All Natural Being? Because it's about unchaining your inner brilliance, reclaiming your voice, and saying no to just good enough. In other words, it's a lot like what we do for our clients. You see, today's consumers, they know what's up. They know the difference between a business that puts them first and one that just wants to separate them from their cash. That's why we do marketing differently. We immerse in your ideal buyer's world, and then we weave empathy, understanding, and artful persuasion into messaging that simply works. No more pushy, reheated marketing that makes your business as appealing as a cardboard sandwich. It's time to win over lifelong clients and customers with authentic, trust-based marketing. Get yours now at LeeRowley.com. Now back to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
It's always, if you get a chance to copy branding, admittedly, Lee is a friend of mine, and I love listening to him talk when he says that it's, about as exciting as eating or tasty as eating a cardboard sandwich. I always laugh, right? It's classic Lee. All right, so this morning, don't forget, I want you to comment, if you would, here in the feed on Lowlife's Making Headlines. Is that right? Is it a segment that we should keep here? Does it work, or is it me just being me, right? And sometimes I'll write stuff that go, oh, Brian, that's way too politically incorrect. And then I go, well, thank you. And they go, yeah, no, not a compliment, really. So I just wanted, if you think, constantly reminding people of the hotheads wrapped in thin skin, of the balsa wood brains, or, the brittle brains atop balsa wood spines. Or you could say balsa wood brains atop brittle spines, right? All I'm trying to say is, for you and me and the people that are into All Natural Being, right? Rebar. We know what it's like to have a spine of steel, right? But for all these other people running around trying to get you to see life their way, all the people that are constantly in critique of your dreams, and we've said before, misery loves company. So if you're busy chasing after those things that you want in life, if you're busy putting your heart's highest priority top of your list, they're going to be the naysayers that go, yeah, I'm not into that. So that's what we're talking about. Let me know if you think that's a segment that we should keep. But again, 60-second stoic, crimes of mind. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy. I think you'd have to admit that's true. And then also the early morning meme, which we will wrap with each day, just kind of sets our mind in the right way. Right? And for this morning's early morning meme, I vote keep it. Future Darwin Award recipients need love too. Fair enough. Thank you, Lee. There's one yes vote. And I love that. So for me, just so you know, and maybe it's the ex-cop, who knows what it is in me. the life scare or the different things that I've had. I don't know what it is, but I love the idea of low lifes making headlines. I love standing up to bullies. I love standing up to people that are attempting to water down. Even if Bird Chat, even if Bird Chat goes ahead and polls our videos, if Bird Chat polls our videos, and the people at Mug Pamphlet, they're most times, although they haven't done it yet, right? So I won't say anything about Mug Pamphlet. But do you know what I mean? I love those segments, but if you think it's too much, let me know. I've already got 1+ vote, so I'm only really looking for one more vote, because then it's 3 votes. There's Lee's vote as a yes. There's my vote. There's a yes. So it's on the fence here. We need one more yes vote, and then we'll be doing low lifes making headlines. And as I said, we'll use that each and every day to kind of, just get it all off of our chest before we get started, I guess is the way to do it. So for this morning's early morning meme, remember that everything you've ever needed, truly, everything you've ever needed, you've always had. Think about it. The ability to breathe in, the ability to eat, the ability to do the most basic functions. Kathy, thank you so very much. It's official. There's a yes. There's the prayer bowl. There's the second yes. So I'm like, and a third yes from me. So there you got it. An official segment. Thank you, Kathy. Fallout Bob, here. I say jolly good. Well, thank you, Fallout Bob. Now it's cascading, right? It looks like I'm throwing the vote. This is great. Everything's working out the way it should be. We will have a segment called Low Lifes Making Headlines. Thank you very much. Well, we'll leave the polls open. What the hell do I care? We'll leave the polls open. Also, don't forget, if you want to text us your answer. I don't know, Fallout Bob. Is it easier phone, text, or here in the thread? I'm not certain. But you can text us at 833-646-3877, or you can give us a call. It's a toll-free call. So if there's any question as to whether it cost you to send a text, then just call us. It's toll-free, 833-646-3877. But back to this morning's early morning meme. It's just that everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. So that when life encourages us, right? Life encourages us to go, oh, well, here's a carrot at the end of the stick. Here's some bling. Here's a bauble that you need. Here's some of the other things that you may want to consider. The nice thing about it is to remember that everything you've truly, now there's things that you might want, right? The poet Sandberg calls hope. It's an echo. It bids you yonder, yonder, yonder. So there's some things we might be, jonesing for, right? Where we go, I'd really like this, or I'd really like that. But ultimately, the things you really need, the things that spark your heart, your grit, your agility, your stamina, your natural resources, you've had those since birth. So it's easy to get caught up in thinking, I want this. I want a new pair of headphones, right? So I get up and I go, yeah, it'd be nice to have that, right? But it's not something I truly need. And that the coolest things in life, your abilities, your natural resources, as I said, you've had those since birth. So as you get out the door this morning, or unless you're already out and about, if you get out the door, remember that you're already armed, you're already packing, you already contain, right? And we're always trying, we're always trying to attain. We're always trying to get. But then you got to wonder, is a part of the stress all this attaining and not focusing on what we naturally contain, naturally within us? And that's what I would suggest that we focus on for this morning as we get out the door. Everything you've ever truly needed, you've always had. And we'll leave it with that. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap. Thank you so very much. I want to do a quick shout out to Lee Rowley at Copy Branding. Lee, thank you very much. If you want information about Lee and everything he's doing, the QR code is up now. Please give it a quick zap. If you don't have a QR code reader, this might be, I think they're free most times. This might be a good reason to get one. And then I also want to thank the good folks at Blender Buffer. If you're in those situations, and here, let me throw that up there as well. If you're in those situations and you're like, oh man, I'd love to make this blended coffee, but it just needs to be a little more quiet, you may want to think of Blender Buffer. Go ahead and zap that QR code. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much for joining us at All Natural Being. We will be back. What are we going to do? We'll be back tomorrow. Look at that. We'll be back 7 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, have an absolutely fantastic day.
listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy.
Join us live every Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern.
Also, check us out around the clock at allnaturalbeing.com.
Until then, always remember to bring your own bold.
IPMNation.com.